When Tyler Perry came onto the scene, it shocked a lot of people, didn't it? I'd never heard of him, as I said, and I don't mean that rudely to him. I know he's a big cheese in a particular area, but as an individual, as an entertainment mogul, I'd not really come across him. I didn't really know much about him. So it was a bit of a shock when suddenly, as we all thought, he'd offered and given, and the private jet and the house and everything to Harry and Meghan to escape apparently the duress that they were under, living in the gated environment surrounded by a loving family called the British monarchy. And consequently, Meghan and Harry were able to go on a freedom flight via his plane and live in his house for free. Now, I've often thought this was funny, and tell me if I'm right here, chums. I mean, nobody checked the house to see if there was any cameras, bugging devices, or anything like that. They just took this guy at the word. I mean, really, how dim do you have to be, right? I mean, think about that in the long term, and particularly as we're now seeing what's happening with Tyler Perry. Now, things look to be taking a turn for the worst. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today in a sun-drenched day here in Kensington. Hope you're well, whatever you're doing. The reason why I'm picking this area at the minute is it's very windy, and I'm trying to find an area that's not too windy, so do forgive me. I know I like to get in different areas, but it's just, you can't. You just can't hold on to it, it's the problem. And they're so used to thinking, well, it's a bit, even here, you can see the hair's blown everywhere. It's a bit windy, isn't it? But what can you do? Now, I'll tell you where it's getting a bit windy is this particular man. So we'll have a nice wave. Nice to see you. Welcome, one and all, brand new subscribers. Tyler Perry, get your teeth in, Neil. Tyler Perry, right? Now, what's interesting about this is that suddenly he's interesting. And this is all down to two production companies who are hoping to put something together for either Channel 4 or Channel 5. And they're going to go deep into the world of Tyler Perry. You see, these latest allegations that have come through about him from an actor that worked on two of his TV series, Derek Dixon, are not the first, right? So this is the problem. TMZ, the gossip site, they've been very expose about exactly what's gone on, etc. Now, where this gets really interesting is, of course, they're going to look at every aspect of Tyler's life, as ever, again, allegedly. But that will include the fact that Harry and Meghan lived in his house for a considerable amount of time. Now, many suspect that there was no payment taken because he just offered it simply because he wanted to be a good friend. And then, as we know later on, he suddenly became and was offered, because he detailed this on the Netflix series, the opportunity to become the godfather to Harry's daughter, Lilibet, right? And what was interesting about this is he said, well, I'll do it, but I'm not going to England for all of that, royal nonsense and dressing up and stuff. So again, very derogatory. Not exactly many fans over here, as you can imagine, in the United Kingdom. Now where it gets interesting is a lot of research is going into these two people that are making two separate production companies that are making this documentary, and looking for people who either worked with him or have got associations, etc. And in particular people who would have known Harry at that time, ex-staff members and stuff. Now, I think this, again, one has to say is going to be very problematic for Harry and Meghan, because it's ill choices, isn't it? And it's their own choices. As I said at the start of the video, I found it odd that they just literally took this guy's word. And it would be like, I don't know, it would be like King Charles just ringing me up and saying, oh, can I come and stay in your humble caravan, Neil? Oh yes, feel free, I'm away for the week, help yourself, and I've left you a box of tea bags. I mean, you just kind of, where is the brain sense in that? There was no security checks at all, because he was told, Harry and Meghan, that they had the best security at that particular mansion, and I'm sure they did. But wouldn't you want to check it yourself? As I said, all of this is now going to unravel with a potential damaging documentary, and once again dragging in the Duke and Duchess of Sussex into very much negative publicity. One that they could well do without, but more importantly, they've lived and learned by this association. And they're deafening silence in the support of their friend that gave them the opportunity to have a wonderful start at freedom, a new life in California, speaks volumes. Many behind the scene think already that Meghan and Harry have quietly distanced themselves. And according to a source in Montecito, Tyler has not been seen around that particular property for some considerable amount of time. Maybe the Sussexes knew a little bit more than we already knew. However, it's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.